Over the night, I had gotten literally no sleep and was feeling tired after our first night of camping. Likely the giant bag of lasagna and the high altitude contributed to that. Austin, on the other hand, slept great.
How was the day yesterday, Austin?
Good. You know, a little wet, but there was a little bit of thunder, but the thunder stopped, so, you know, I'm not going to complain. We got to ride bikes and be out here and wake up to this.
The area we camped in was in an alpine setting at over 12,600 feet. As we were a bit behind schedule, our day would begin with a 14-mile jaunt to get to Silverton. There would be about 1,000 feet of climbing in this period of time, but also a ton of descending. Austin was actually wearing the GoPro this morning, and we had an awesome descent after an initial climb out of our camp area. Super pretty and also super awesome that it was not raining at this time. As we came around the final point on segment 23, we approached this giant field that had thousands of sheep in them. And I mean thousands. There were just oodles of sheep everywhere. The exciting thing about getting around this point beyond the sheep, though, was that we were finally on double track. And at that, it was double track that was about to descend about 4,000 feet into the town of Silverton. When we got to Silverton, we made productive use of our time, stopped by a restaurant to eat some food, cleaned off our bikes, and picked up some groceries and supplies before ultimately getting back on the road again.
We got a lot of candy.
Yeah.
And Austin's got missing paint on his bike.
Yep, next 2 nights, solo by ourselves.
To get out of Silverton required about 1,500 feet of climbing along the $1 Million Highway, which was a paved section of highway. Shortly thereafter that, we got back on single track on CT25. Given we were a bit behind schedule, we knew it was unlikely we would complete all of CT25 today. In that case, we were hoping to find a good water source after the high point of the segment at 12,400 feet, where we could camp out for the night and get a good start on the next day. After being exposed to segments 22 and 23 of the Colorado Trail, we were pleasantly surprised by how rideable CT25 was. Super gorgeous views all the way throughout. Definitely some hike-a-bike and challenging terrain overall, but really fun single track and some really awesome descents in this part of the trail. The other thing we were really enjoying about CT25 is the plentiful water sources. While it did get a little bit annoying crossing these streams, there were many opportunities for us to fill up our water bottles and avoid carrying as much weight on our backs, which also allowed us to just go a little bit faster without being quite as tired. We were approaching the high point of segment 25, which is at about 12,500 feet, and definitely with some hike-a-bike at this point in time. We actually ran into a few hikers that passed us on occasion and started descending again. The backside of CT25 was a super fun, super steep descent into this valley where we would ultimately end up camping for the night. As we finally dipped below treeline, our number one priority was finding and establishing camp. We were looking for a good water source, But we were also trying to get set up as soon as possible. It was starting to get dark. We had biked almost 38 miles for the day, done over a vertical mile of climbing. So we were very tired at this point in time. Eventually we did find this awesome waterfall near a flat spot, set up camp, and called it a day. And with that, that concludes the end of day 2 of our Colorado Trail journey. Tomorrow we will tackle the rest of CT25, CT26, and hopefully complete all of CT27.